Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Unpopular Reviews. This is season one, episode two of our entertainment edition. In the first season, we're reviewing Marvel Cinematic Universe. On Wednesday, we review to you not Iron Man, damn, I am all off. Captain America First Avenger, which was a very interesting topic. Today, we'll continue on with our Marvel Cinematic Universe timeline as we are going to review Captain Marvel. And joining me today is actually an old friend of mine, and don't highlight the word old. It's been a while. But ladies and gentlemen, bring to you Jay. Jay, what is going on? Good evening. Welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. I got on this podcast because you said we're going to watch one of the best Marvel movies ever made. So I said I got to be a part of that, and here I am.
You thought we were going to watch one of the best Marvel movies ever made, and we're here to review Captain Marvel. Actually, Captain Marvel. This is one of the best movies to you.
I wouldn't call that one of the best movies, but that's what you said in the text, and so that's what I'm here.
My fault for deceiving you. We're actually going to review Captain Marvel, a movie set in the year 1995, starring Brie Larson and Samuel L. Jackson.
I'm sorry, my internet is going out with this whole quarantine thing. You said Samuel L. Jackson and who?
Brie Larson.
Oh, Ellen? Who?
No, in this movie she didn't have the short haircut.
Oh yeah.
She had a longer haircut, which did make her look like a younger version of Ellen.
That's true. Yeah. Now she's Portia de Rossi.
Was there anything about this movie that stood out to you? The beginning of the movie, she's pretty much fighting. She's fighting alongside this group of bandits, I'll say, and she's being trained. She has no memory of anything.
Well, it's funny because, I watched this movie and I have no memory of it because nothing about it was captivating. I have it on in the background, so if you see me look up, that's what I'm looking at, just as a cheat sheet. But one thing I did like about it is it had a diverse cast. Not the stars; they all look the same, but the people in the background in the Kree world, I thought that was pretty cool.
The Krees. I mean, we saw them in Guardians of the Galaxy, and now we see them now. Are you happy to see the Krees?
No, I wasn't really looking forward to seeing them. I wasn't asking for this movie. But like I said, I like the fact that you go to an alien planet and they look what we would say human-like, and then they look like what we would say very alien-like. You know what I mean? So I thought that was pretty cool. I will give it credit for that.
The Skrulls were in this movie, and I know for the longest time, people are actually looking forward to seeing the Skrulls in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And did they disappoint you, so to speak? Because we're used to the Skrulls that were in the Fantastic Four, along with Super Skrull. They're shapeshifters, most of them anyway. They're shapeshifters. They're trying to destroy or take over the Earth. Of course, the Skrull Kree War, which was somewhat the basis of this movie, but a lot of jokes. So, was that something you were pleased to see? And so,
well, let me say this, and like you listed a few of the references that I was familiar with, way back in the cartoon days of the '90s and everything like that. And every time that we had seen Skrulls were talked about, they were talked about like they are in this movie, and they actually were villains to some degree, and they used their shape-shifting abilities to, manipulate the game for themselves. And in this movie, they did the same thing up until they revealed that no, they were actually the good guys, and then they retconned it in the movie itself to show that everything that they did was actually for a benevolent reason. But when you watch the movie linearly, they're depicted as villains until the script says now they're not villains. Now they're good guys. So, and women.
They were definitely acting like villains, and so was Brie Larson, who was a little, I'll say, frustrated in her times in the '90s. She was blowing up things left and right for absolutely no reason, including a blockbuster, and a jukebox. There was no slight when it comes to '90s references in this movie, by far.
Are you saying that she was emotional?
She was emotional from what they said. She wasn't emotional from what I could see in her acting.
Oh, she didn't smile. They didn't pay her enough to smile, but she was emotional. Yeah.
Definitely. What stood out about this movie to you?
Again, I like the diversity. All joking aside, I thought Samuel Jackson was great. He always brings it. I mean, it's a supporting role, but once you get to Earth, he's actually in it for a lot of the movie, and I like that. I like that we see Coulson again, because I always enjoyed him. I like that actor.
Do you watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? That's off topic, but I'm just kind of curious.
No. It's enough that I
No,
pay
you
for
like
in the theater. But I did like Jude Law. He had that antagonistic relationship, almost like he was trying to bring her to that next level to see if she could actually do it, so that he would have a worthy opponent. So I liked him. I like him as an actor. But other than that, I gotta be honest, the movie was very, very slow. Yeah, for those who don't know, it was
slow was underlined. There was a few action sequences.
Mm-hmm.
There was one in the warehouse. Samuel L. Jackson, who I guess since this was his younger days, he wasn't that badass Samuel L. Jackson that you're so used to, because he was doing a lot
he
of
was running like an older Samuel Jackson.
he wasn't an older Samuel Jackson. This one, he's in his mid-40s.
But he was running like he was in his mid-60s. I don't understand.
Samuel L. Jackson, fun fact, I think he's like 71 years old though.
Yeah, well, Hollywood years, he's a little bit younger. So, I say mid-60s.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, but
they even though this woman has all these powers, they end up in a cabin in the woods, and I'll just say that they end up in a cabin in the woods so she can have some alone time with her friend, as well as her friend's daughter.
You said her friend's daughter, or who? Because she was like a mom to her.
Yeah, it was her friend's daughter. Okay. She, unless there was some tomfoolery going on, and we're not going to speculate on that. Right. But it was definitely her friend's daughter, and I thought the scene was a little forced. I thought it was a little contrived, so that's why I mentioned that.
Yeah, I like that. They're both Air Force pilots, and the friend lives out in a slave cabin in the woods, with very, very green grass. I guess the land is fertile. And the Skrulls are there, and the daughter has a little Skrull friend, because diversity again, and that message. I wonder if the little girl will ever face discrimination because one of her best friends is green. That's what I wonder.
Yeah. It was the 90s, and the 90s wasn't as lax as it is now, and it's not even hardly lax now. So her friend might have been
back then. It was just the word. It was just the word. There was nowadays the N-word, but because of the hard work that Captain Marvel did, now it's the N-word.
So what would they call the Skrulls? What would they call them? If they can't be the N-word, what would they call them?
Well, listen, in the Middle East, they have a name for them. I don't know what we can say on YouTube anymore, but I would say they're the green N-words. The green N-words. That's what they would say. Yeah. The green N-words.
Fair enough. So
hopefully they're not found in Central Park. Let me say that.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Just to say that's how they were treated.
Right. That's right. I can't fault you on that. You were saying earlier how Brie Larson reminded you of a young Ellen.
The ally.
No, she reminded me of a young Ellen. Reminded you of a young Ellen, I should say. This movie was actually filmed before the Avengers Endgame.
Portia de Rossi.
I'm after.
This movie should remind me of Portia de Rossi. In Endgame, she was Ellen. She was young Ellen. She was an ally, as they like to say, because this movie, even though it was in the 90s, there's a lot of PC about it. Other than the blockbuster, there wasn't really much 90s about it. People were really nice. I thought that was a little Hollywood. I don't remember that. But,
where did you grow up in the 90s where people were nice? I mean, is that accurate? To people not nice in the 90s? I don't know.
I don't remember that. They were very, very nice, and I just don't remember that. Now she's punching old woman on the train. I don't. That I remember, but everybody's real calm about it. You know, everybody's real calm about it. But that's privilege, you know.
Mike Hawk should have never produced that film.
You know, I don't get it.
They tried their best. They tried their best. The worst thing part of the movie to me was Brie Larson's acting. And forgive me. I wish he was in the comments right now. Jeffrey King. He'll might watch this back later. He's a big fan of Brie Larson, and we go back and forth all the time. There she is, right there. We go back and forth all the time. I just do not find her acting to be good. She's actually won an Academy Award back in 2015 for the movie. Huh?
What movie?
The Room. What's the name of the movie? The Room.
I don't think I've ever seen that. What's that about? I mean, don't say it wrong.
I'm not familiar with it. I just know she won the Best Actress Award at the Oscars that year for that movie. And if the director can find a picture of her winning that Oscar, that would be great. But she is an Academy Award winning actress, and I just do not see it at all.
Well, you know, I'll admit that I liked her in Scott Pilgrim.
You know, I didn't like that movie.
Oh, okay. Well, you know.
Our old good buddy Jose dragged me out to see that one time. I could not stand that movie. Him and I think Superman was in there too, right?
Yeah, they were in the same.
Always around.
They were in the same scene. That was the new boyfriend, and they were in I forget the name of the group that they were in, but that was the whole setup. You know, she was good in that.
I've never seen a movie. She was
movie made no apologies about it being literally a comic book, like a motion.
Well, that's a good thing.
You know what I mean? So I enjoyed it. But this movie was described as exciting, must see, one of the best Marvel movies out there. It rivaled Wonder Woman on Rotten Tomatoes, and they're impartial. So when I got a chance to see it, I looked for all those things because I had seen Wonder Woman and I've seen the other Marvel pictures, and I know what excitement means. And I waited and I waited, and maybe there was a cut scene at the end of the credits, you know, but
there was. It was going into Avengers Endgame.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot. MacGuffin. That's what they called it. Yeah, because you know, I know we're not up to this, but in Guardians of the Galaxy, you know, Volume 2, when you're half celestial and you literally have the power to defeat Thanos, the big bad that you've been setting up for 10 years. And then you realize, hey, he can't have these abilities, but we need an exciting movie, so we'll give him these powers. And then right at the end, we'll rewrite what it means to have genetic abilities and take it away from him. But then we need some way to fight Thanos. Oh yeah, we'll come out with Captain Marvel. That's essentially what this movie was. You know, I didn't see her do anything in this movie that would suggest that she could beat Thanos, because Thanos is a trained fighter. He's thousands of years old, and this woman can't remember her name.
No, not to the end, where she realized her true potential power.
Yeah, you know, I don't want to say it, but it was kind of a Harvey Weinstein, you know, like.
Oh.
No, I mean, you know, no. Let me slow down. You know what I'm saying? She couldn't.
No, I don't.
She could, and it was convenient, you know. So, you know. Yeah, Harvey Weinstein.
Bottom line is she's a really powerful person. So powerful they actually had to make sure that she wasn't in Avengers Endgame for the majority of the movie. Because she can give
so many other
competition.
Even though we know that he's going to come to Earth.
The funny thing is, you talk about the end scenes. Oh, look at it. There it is. This is the Mark, Victor Rodriguez. Mark, meet Jay. Jay, meet the Mark, another member of Unpopular Reviews. And I'm pretty sure he's watched as he directed. And he might have some thoughts when it comes to Captain Marvel. You have been crucified, my friend, in this movie this whole time.
Well, honestly, this movie, in my opinion, it was filler.
I agree with that.
It was filler. It's like the bathroom break match at WrestleMania. And I see. I understand why they did this movie when they. I just wonder if because here's the thing. I want to ask you: are we following the Rocks? Because the fact that we watched this movie second, and this movie is like all about this the Taliban. What is it called? The Tesseract. Is that what we're doing? Are we following the Rocks? Is that like?
It was about the Tesseract. The Tesseract was the Infinity Stone in this movie, which
Yeah.
it's like the Village Ho. It gets around, but it was there, and but then it's the next movie on the that we're going to review in the timeline that we're doing is Iron Man. I don't know where the Tesseract keeps popping up anywhere. It goes away for a while and comes back like herpes, but it's definitely there.
The thing is, like, all right, so they center this movie around this thing, and she gets her powers from blasting an energy core, and yeah, and she blasts things, all of these powers. Like, how powerful is this fucking energy core that all of a sudden she can do all this crap? Like, there's just something that just don't make sense.
Well, here's the real question. Even if the energy core is powerful, how is her body being able to take all of that and she still be alive?
That's what we're gonna find out in Capsule too.
And
because I have a feeling after watching this, like the second movie is gonna be more okay. We're gonna delve into her past.
Oh, okay. Usually they do that in the first movie when they give the origins, but maybe Disney needs the money,
But one thing I realized is that everything that went into her origin, like when she was a child, was a blur. Like they would show her father for a couple of seconds, and then when they were going through her pictures, they would show a picture of her and her father real quick, and that's it. At the end of the movie, when they had that powerful scene where every part of her as a little girl and a teenager and a preteen growing up and standing up after being.
That's when they all stood up, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, she doesn't need a man. That's the point of the movie.
Yeah. That's what
I mean. It was heavy-handed. It was like that scene when she flew the Infinity Gauntlet. The 20 feet because Doctor Strange could see Tony Stark through all that fighting, but all the women stood up and they were powerful enough to stop all those people. They didn't need anybody.
Yeah, it's the
nobody could put the gauntlet on, but they were powerful.
It's the pro girl stuff. So like that's much what it was about. But I wonder if this movie should have been done. I wonder if it would have made sense if they would have done it way sooner.
The problem is they weren't sure that a female-led movie was going to make any money, and that's why they didn't do it sooner. When they saw that Wonder Woman did exceptionally well, they said, "Hey, what movie can we pull the trigger?" They wasn't going to work with Black Widow. They didn't have enough faith in her. They're giving her a movie now, and honestly, I don't expect that movie to make as much as this movie made. This movie
made. Are they still releasing it, or they're just going to come to Plus because of the?
No, it's going to be released. It's just going to be released later. But this movie made worldwide $1,128,274,794. That's on a budget of $160,000.
Can I push back on that just a little bit?
Yeah, feel free.
A lot of times nowadays, it's become very popular, and I'm not saying that you're doing this, right? When somebody says, "Oh, was the movie good?" and then somebody will say, "Oh, it made 1 billion or whatever like that, or it reached $1 billion and this so forth." There are many different reasons for that. The ticket prices are much higher nowadays. 3D, 3D IMAX alone. You know what I mean? Depending on the certain time you're buying them, yada yada. A good movie is still a good movie based on the script, the acting, the performances, and so on and so forth, right? Cinematography, all that. This movie was not a good movie. And arguably, out of all the ones at the time that they made this, because I think this is right after or right before they acquired the rights to Fox, right?
This was right after, I think, a month.
Right? They never set up any of the Marvel female characters to lead a movie.
Correct.
And to be fair, that argument that they put out that they weren't sure a female-led superhero movie could do well, they didn't know that about Thor either. And I think up until Ragnarok, Thor got the lowest, if we're talking about box office, got the lowest amount in the theaters.
Incredible Hulk.
Well, they Incredible. That was retcon to be part of the MCU, but really that's not, because when in Civil War they didn't even mention Harlem.
Mm-hmm.
That never happened. You see what I'm saying? So they play fast and loose with that, and that whole battle.
But they mentioned it in Avengers. They did mention in the first Avengers.
Yeah, but in Civil War, you know what I mean?
They changed it.
Avengers Light, they never brought that up.
Right.
It was only the Battle of Midtown or whatever you want to call it. You see what I'm saying? So yeah. I think Wonder Woman did well because it was a good movie. There were strong characters in it. This movie, it did well. We can talk about that. You know what I mean?
We're definitely going to talk about it. We don't want to go on a tangent like
no,
I did the last episode.
I'm just
but
saying,
I wasn't a big fan of Wonder Woman.
I just want to push back on the narrative that, you know, this is a good movie. Disney is a big studio, and they have a lot of muscle in Hollywood. And, you know, I was joking about it earlier, but Rotten Tomatoes and other these sites and everything like that, these people salivate over the idea that they get to find some tidbit of information 5 months before everybody else does. They get a goodie bag or something like that. So they're going to promote this, even though we know that the movie doesn't make any sense. You know, if you blow up an engine, a standard engine, right, a combustion engine, you can't take the shrapnel. Now, the Tesseract, we know it destroyed the Red Skull.
Correct, so to speak.
Yes, now we know that he was transported to another planet in another system. I got it, retcon, right? But it destroyed him. It destroyed him. You know, we're not going to play fast and loose, okay? And it really didn't. It clearly did destroy him because that wasn't the same actor. Okay. So, but she's able to take the blast and the radiation, and not only that, harness it as energy. So much so that she's being trained to be a weapon to help them defeat their enemy. Right? That makes no sense. It's utterly ridiculous. And she's doing nothing that would show me she can fight Thanos, right? When did she learn to fight like that?
She was trained. They did that in scene 1, bro.
No,
she was trained by the guy's name I can't pronounce. We'll call him Jude Law.
With Jude Law, when she's training with Jude Law, they look like they're going through different steps that they choreographed, and they still don't get. They were moving kind of slow. If you look at how Thanos is fighting, right, in Endgame, he's not going slow at all.
No, he definitely was going Batman and BVS.
Marvel that she's moving that fast, that she's going toe to toe with a trained fighter who's been fighting for millennia. He says it himself that I've been going through system to system trying to do this until I found out about the stones.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So what in Captain Marvel, if it's a setup to Infinity War or Endgame, right?
Mm-hmm.
What did they show us that would give me cause to believe that she would be a help to them?
She glows.
Literally.
That's what I felt. She glows, and she has this device that can allow her to change her outfit to look like almost any color.
Say that again?
Yeah.
She has this device on her outfit that makes her change outfits to almost any color to help her possible daughter. Like,
she's fashionable. You know, like it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So when people throw out that money thing, it doesn't really mean anything to me because a lot of the movies make a lot of money, but they're trash, in my opinion.
I completely agree. But if you are making over $1 billion on a budget of $160 million, that screams to me, I'm going to give you a sequel. Because somebody out there must have liked this. That's not all 3D and inflation. That's people going back to see it. Did they do it because it's a woman? I don't know. They definitely didn't do it because of her acting. But the bottom line is,
and I'm not saying that people didn't see the movie. Let me clarify that. I'm not saying that people didn't see the movie.
I paid money to see it. Did you pay money to see it?
No, I did not. I'm not saying that people didn't see it more than once. All right, but to that, I'm saying that it was a lot. It was a lot of buildup because this came right after Infinity War, didn't it? And it
came right after Infinity War.
Am I gonna get some information? And people will say, listen, I watched Back to the Future how many times?
Funny, I was just talking to Vic down there about that because he was talking about it. I said, you're the perfect person to review it. I'll sit out on that one.
Yeah,
I did not like
can
that.
you imagine if they had 20 something films in the Back to the Future franchise? You see what I'm saying? How often and it was building up to something, the end of it, you would see that movie over and over and you would dissect that. So there's many different reasons why it made so much money. But my point is this, that when you look at the film by itself, because that's what you have to do, right? It's a standalone film. It's not 1 and 2. Like if we're gonna say Infinity War and Endgame, you could almost look at that as one film, just released, right? But this is one film. This one film is not good. It's just not based on the rules that they established in this movie. If I saw no other Marvel movie and I just went to see, no pun intended, Captain Marvel, right? The movie doesn't make any sense. I don't want to go on other franchises, but this is the same thing what they're doing with Star Wars.
That's why I wonder if it would have made more sense if they did it earlier. I mean, obviously it was filler, but that's why I do wonder if it would have made more sense story wise if they made it way sooner, or even in the 90s. Because you can just tell the whole thing was filler, and like the last thing that you saw in the first movie was the pager, and this movie with them getting an answer to the pager. So after the credits, so like clearly like it's that this whole thing is filler. Movie alone, like I found certain parts to be comical. Honestly, and one thing that I did appreciate was this. I really liked. It brought back some nice memories. That's what I did appreciate about the movie, like the memory about those days, and especially seeing the Blockbuster video. That was nice. The one part, there was a lot of parts that didn't make sense. Like, if she has amnesia, she's so part. How is she so like? If she lost all of her memory, like, how is she so like and witty and like, you know what I mean? And like, there's like certain things that you can tell she remembers, and like, it just makes sense. Like the acting was just really bad on her.
And even let's even go on that, right? Let's say that literally she still is witty and she still knows certain jokes and cultural references and everything like that. Wouldn't the person say to themselves, hey, if I literally lost my memory, how is it that I know these things? You see what I'm saying? That doesn't raise any red flags. I even wrote that down. I said, she's a trained soldier, right? Because even in her flashback, she's a trained soldier, but she has no control of her powers.
Yeah.
The two things don't make any sense.
Yeah, a lot.
You see what I'm saying? So it's almost like whoever wrote the script, they literally made them rush and write it out, and they didn't brush up on a lot of the things that they did, seeing as how they had X amount of films that were before it. You see what I'm saying? To be honest, I don't care that she doesn't smile a lot. You know what I mean? Or that she has a serious look. I joke around about that, but who cares really? You know what I mean? But I can't stand when a movie comes out and then it's peddled as something good or decent, and it fails to fill its own logic.
Well,
how do you know how to do all these things, and then she can't even remember?
No, I in my opinion, I think that this was strategic. It was executed very well. Not because the movie was good, but the marketing strategy behind all of this. Because this felt like a big commercial.
Yeah.
It was like a big commercial for the next movie. More than anything. As if that was the purpose, then they executed it very well. Definitely hit the pro-kill agenda, and it just teased everybody for the next. And honestly, I think this should even be added as part of the Infinity Saga. You know what I mean? Like a trilogy.
Wait, say that last part being cut out for me.
There's definitely a lot of filler. You know what I'm saying? Hello, Chrissy. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of filler when it comes to things that we didn't know at the time. So watching it back, as far as alone movie, if I had a daughter and I want her to feel about herself, and I want her to feel it, I'll watch it. simply for the message of when you fall down, you get back up.
Mhm.
Just for that. Other than that, like I would never really praise this movie as like on the top. I we should even be covered as the second movie because I'm still trying to figure out spots where it even connects from Captain America to this movie. The only way that I
It
see
doesn't.
it is with the Tesseract. That's it. That's the only place where I see it. And like you know, when we get closer to the end of the movie, there's a couple of spots that I'm just like, what the fuck? How does that? We'll get to that. We'll definitely get to that. Oh, but wait. Yeah,
One thing that I will say is one of the end cut scenes is pretty much, and actually it wasn't end cut scenes. Toward the end of the movie, the pager thing that you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
She gave Samuel L. Jackson, Nick Fury, the pager said use it only in emergencies. An emergency wasn't when Thanos or Loki, I should say, attacked Earth the first time. That was an emergency. You could have used it then. I won't even say Ultron because it wasn't even attacking America, but that was an emergency. I'm trying to figure out why you wait until everybody's about to get incinerated, and literally was, before you decide to bring up
until he was.
Wait, after the superheroes start fighting each other. You know what I'm saying?
And we're supposed to believe that Nick Fury doesn't know that they're fighting him in Africa?
Mm-hmm.
The director of S.H.I.E.L.D.? He has no idea why people are just evaporating like that? That makes no sense. That makes no sense.
The guy that knows everything. And Captain America, as soon as he finds out his memory, he's the first one to pop up. But he doesn't know? Yeah. Okay.
And I'll use this, you know, to go back to Captain America. Something that I liked that they showed that Steve Rogers wasn't stupid at all is when he woke up and they were trying to recreate the 1940s, whatever year they told him that was, you know, and that it had only been a few months or something like that. And he recognizes the ball game on the radio because that's something he would have listened to. And he says, I know that game because I listened to it. And that game was in 1943 or whatever like that. You know what I mean? Where am I and who are you? Do you see what I'm saying? In this one, it's hard for me to believe, again, a soldier, an Air Force pilot, someone who worked on highly top secret aircraft, right? Because she was a test pilot. Can't figure out that something's not adding up with these people. By the way, I mentioned that all the one of the things that I liked is that all the Krees, you know, look different. You know, some look very, very human, you know what I mean? And some look very, very alien to us, right? From our point of view. But even the ones like Annette Bening's character, when you look at her in, what is it, Jude Law, they had like some weird looking eyes. The only one who had what we would consider human eyes is Captain Marvel. She didn't say to herself, hey, how come I'm the only one on the planet with these eyes?
Damn, I don't know. Yeah, damn, you're right.
Do you see what I'm saying? If I went outside and everybody had like glowing eyes, I wouldn't say, where the hell am I? What's going on?
Facts.
Did I miss the giveaway?
That is true.
You see what I'm saying? And I'm not a top secret pilot. You see what I'm saying? So how is it that this woman who's so powerful and is supposed to be a message and inspiring and everything like that, she comes off as an idiot? You know, not because of Brie Larson, but that's the way they wrote it. Again, it seems like the script was rushed. And I'm watching this, and I'm like, who okayed the script? To your point, it's Fuller. In the 90s, to go to the 90s, it would have been released on VHS, and you would watch it. You remember the Animatrix?
Yes.
This movie is the Animatrix.
Okay.
Because you didn't need it, but it just answers some questions or curiosities.
That's true. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
You see what I'm saying?
So I'm so glad you mentioned Captain America and him waking up. So I have a question for you. Do you think Captain America was upset when he woke up because he was upset that he did not commit suicide successfully? Because that's what I think. I think Captain America really wanted to kill himself himself. And then when he woke up and he listened to a baseball game, he said, "Oh shit, you ruined my plan." You know what I'm saying? Some girl wanted me to go out on a date and wanted me to lose my virginity. I didn't want to lose my virginity, so I tried to go ahead and plunge myself into this icy plunge. And you screwed everything up by waking me up.
You think
you know what? You know what? Chris is just trolling me right now because.
No, I'm not trolling you. I really think that Captain America was upset over the fact that his suicide plans, his suicide mission was fouled up. And it's all because of Nick Fury, because Nick Fury was upset he lost an eye. I don't know what's going on. You know, he trusted a cat, and the cat took his eye. I don't understand what's going on.
Ridiculous moment for him to lose his eye. That was so stupid. that was so stupid. But if we're going to go to Cap for a second, I think that was probably
Marvel.
No, Captain America. Sorry, probably. Other than an Endgame, and I have to think about which one it is, his best hero moment when he does that. Because if you look at that scene when he's saying goodbye to her, right? You see, Chris is already making the face, but if
I'm about to tear it apart, I'm gonna let you finish. No,
I'm just saying,
I'm gonna Kanye you, but I'm gonna let you finish, right? All right.
And this is why I hold the Captain America, the First Avenger, up as one of the best Marvel pictures, because even the way they shot that film, like the color tint or whatever they call that, right? It looks dreamy. It doesn't look like of this world. It looks like almost like in a memory. The whole movie is shot like a memory, right? And so it might be in his head. This is how I see it, the rose tinted glasses, right? Which is how he always looks at his lady love, okay? But that scene in the car when they're racing and he knows and he's so you're already disrespectful. You're already disrespectful. I can't.
His lady love. His lady love. He loved her so much he tried to bang her his niece or something like that. Oh, it's fine. It's fine. No, go ahead, James. Go ahead. Tell me about him and his lady love. Tell me about the heroic moment he did when he tried to run away from getting something.
So
go ahead. All right, go ahead.
He's in the car and he's calculating. He knows that he's probably not going to come back because of what he has to do, right? Mm-hmm. And he looks at her. He gives her a look. I think the guy was a general captain. I forget. It's been so long since I saw the movie. He looks at him and they both nod like, you got to do what you got to do. You know what I mean? He jumps onto the thing. He's fighting them. He wakes up. To your point, I think he thought, I died. I think he thought he died. And he was shocked like, what the hell is going on? Because I know I was dead or something. And to a certain degree, he was. He was in hibernation, however they describe it, right? When he realizes that he's being lied to, I think he thinks he's back with maybe Hydra or something like that. He doesn't know, right? And he goes outside and it's like Disney World 2.0. And he's like, what the hell is this? What's going on? Who are these colored people? I've never seen them before, you know? So he's running around. And that's the one thing they didn't, you know? The land of color, right? And
who are these colored
people? And Nick Fury, the colored man, is talking to him and he says he's in charge. He believes that, right? Yeah, just older with one eye. He believes that, right? And then he says, damn. You know what I mean? Because he's like, you obviously telling the truth because it looks nothing like I've seen before. So, you know, and I know that game is not really going on. You're not Hydra because, again, you're black, right? I was looking forward to it. It was a nice ending. It really was. It was a nice ending. I like it.
So let me call the BS on this. Let me call the BS. You mentioned the fact that people nod to each other. He's saying, I know what I have to do. So you're fine with that. But when it comes to Avengers Endgame, not to skip over to the season finale, Avengers Endgame with Doctor Strange, as you call him, Dr. Waterfall, look over to Iron Man. He holds up to one finger. He gives it a nod. Iron Man says, hey, I know what I have to do. I know what I have to do to defeat Thanos. I have to go ahead and sacrifice and do it in dramatic fashion because I am Iron Man. You have a problem with that?
No, Iron Man is the most OP person other than Black Widow and Hawkeye person in the MCU. Here's what I want to know. What power in the suit with the helmet off allows him to see miles away to catch the water, raise up one finger? How does he see him? Why does he look to him? How does he even make him out? Please explain that.
So, do we really know that he was miles away? Maybe the whole battle could have been miles away, but maybe they were only a couple feet from each other. You know what I'm saying? We're speculating right now.
They literally showed that waterfall cascade, right, was behind what used to be the Avengers complex, right?
Right, but after the waterfall thing, you know, he has that.
And them, they were. You saw Ant-Man, who was Giant Man, running. How far is a giant gonna run if they were only 20 feet away? Spider-Man, Valkyrie is flying. You have those giant serpents. I forget the name of them, whatever they're called, you know, and they're going around and everything like that. You have all the women and they're seen and they're doing this stuff. You have Scarlet Witch, who all of a sudden knows that she's powerful. She forgot that from the second Avengers movie. You know what I mean? Marvel comes down, she just goes the water, right?
And she discovered she was powerful in the second, Avengers Infinity War. Thank you very much. Okay.
No, she wasn't. No, she was weak and ineffectual. She was weak and ineffectual. She was as weak as the Captain Marvel script. That's how weak Scarlet Witch was. Okay, she let her. She's supposed to be the protector.
Hold on, no.
Nobody.
Captain America: Civil War. She stopped a Vision when he was trying to stop Hawkeye.
She made a man who wore sweaters go kneel on the ground and then fall through the floor.
Okay.
Ooh. Over somebody who can transmute his atoms, right? His on the molecular level, but she couldn't control the bomb that went off in the beginning of the movie.
You know, this is all good for like when we actually cover that movie.
That's right. I'm sorry. I'm just, I'm going on a rant because I'm not the biggest fan of Marvel pictures because they play fast and loose.
This is going to be the last episode of Marvel movies. But wait,
yeah.
that's
season one.
Let me ask you something. Was this the last appearance?
I thought it was Endgame. Was it Endgame or this one?
No, it was this one. He wasn't in Endgame.
Yeah, I think.
No, I'm sorry. Endgame was his last appearance. That was his last one he shot. If that makes sense.
Okay, cool. Actually, and the other thing that I peeped, I didn't know that he made this movie. Did he do this movie?
Mallrats? No, yeah. That's Kevin Smith. I think that's Kevin Smith, right?
Correct.
See.
But he was in the movie.
Yeah, Mallrats was just a popular movie or a niche movie when this movie was supposed to take place.
Right.
Yeah.
But Stan Lee was in the movie. Matter of fact, the voice that you heard in it was actually a dubbed version of a scene that was deleted that he said in a line he said in the movie because apparently he was too weak to say his line in the movie because his health was declining. Oh, so that was a little tidbit there, but that was the last movie he shot. But the last movie was Avengers Endgame. But that was shot. Avengers Endgame was shot before Captain Marvel.
No.
Nice. Well, when it comes back to Captain Marvel, unfortunately, there isn't much excitement from all of us because we can all see that this was just filler. Now, the parts that I did appreciate was the taking back to the 90s, and there were certain parts that were a little bit comical. The part that I liked was the introduction to the Clerkin and how the Clerkin just started fucking niggas up. Like the kid, they were in a scene where they were in a spaceship fighting everybody, and then started shooting the gun, and runs out of bullets, and there's like 5 soldiers, and Sam is holding the cat, and then the cat just pulls out these tentacles and starts messing everybody up. That was awesome. And then the other part where the cat ate the Tesseract. So I wonder if we're going to see more Clerkins in Captain Marvel 2. And honestly,
does Clerkin have powers now?
I guess it does, because the thing is that the Clerkin is the cause of Nick Fury's eye being taken out. Because towards the end of the movie, he gets scratched by the Clerkin.
Mhm.
Because like throughout the whole movie, like we're wondering why these guys are scared of this cat. that was curious, you know. And then it obviously leads you to finding out how Nick Fury his eye patch.
Mhm.
So yeah, okay. So yeah, like there's certain things that I definitely did appreciate at the time, because just like everybody else, I went to go see this movie just for an inkling as to what's gonna happen, and so. But more than anything, yeah, it was filler, because honestly, before any, I think that a lot of people, what they did is that they saw all his back, because that was the incentive. Like a lot of people would the whole narrative. Oh, watch everything, watch everything, so you know the whole story. But, yeah, there's a couple of things that I like about it, but it's not movie of the year. I'll give you that much. Unfortunately, there really isn't much to say.
I mean, going to things that we liked, I did like the fact that we saw Agent Coulson. You know, I thought that he was going to be back long before this movie. I don't know why they put him in this one, but it made sense time wise. Again, I like Samuel Jackson.
Do you watch Agents of Shield?
I do not. No, I don't. I'm talking about in a movie, not on ABC.
Oh yeah, the movie, but he has his own show. You like him so much, he has his own show, but you don't.
Well, I think of Agents of Shield. What I think of the CW and those Superman shows and everything like that.
There's not a Superman show on the CW.
Yeah, Supergirl, Flash. And
yeah, Supergirl. It's a good show.
Wait, is that necessary?
Huh?
To watch the show? Agents of Shield.
No, it's not necessary. That's why I don't watch it. I don't know what Chris is talking about. Like,
it's a part of the. It's a part of the universe.
No, thank you. No, thank you.
It's a part of the universe. Anything that happens in the movies, they reference in the shows, much like they did with the Netflix shows, Daredevil, not Black Lightning. What's the guy's name? I forgot. Iron Fist. Judge Judy, I forgot her name, but those shows, those shows on Netflix are part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. What is her name? Jessica Jones.
Yes,
Jessica Jones, which was my favorite one. So I don't know why I couldn't remember her name. And Luke Cage. You don't watch any?
Good, but I will say this: you're telling me that Agents of Shield has the same production value as Jessica Jones or Daredevil or Luke Cage, who you call Black Lightning?
Because the problem I had with Black Lightning and Luke Cage, and we'll probably never review these, is the fact that they both are really black centric. Like they do too much with that. That's why I kind of did it.
That was the whole conceit with Luke Cage. Luke Cage is supposed to be that,
Black centric. Talking about there's white people in Black Lightning. Wait, hang on a second. Gambit.
Isn't that a CW show?
Yeah.
Black Lightning's a CW show. Yes, I just watched the 3rd season last week.
Yeah, I don't watch the CW.
What's wrong with the CW? CW has some good shows.
Okay. All I'm saying is there's a lot of emotion on these CW shows. I feel uncomfortable, I don't get it.
I like the CW shows, Subi. I like The Flash. I like Supergirl. I like Legends of Tomorrow. Arrow started it. It was good.
How many speedsters are there that are faster than the Flash? But every episode I gotta hear he's the fastest man on the planet. Every episode.
Man, Captain Marvel was a movie that made a lot of money. Got a 6.9 out of 10 on IMDb. Some people like it, some people don't. Just like any other movie. But
how much coffee did they drink in the Flash?
Black Lightning's back. Just fine.
Yeah, Black Lightning's back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Last night I saw a superhero. He was black. He said, "This is for the hood. Black Lightning's back."
As opposed to the Flash and who? Or Supergirl and who? They always have their tokens. Let us have our tokens.
But
Black Lightning.
Like this, the way that the way that they do Black Lightning is really nice because it's really like the Huxtable and his family are superheroes.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like he's a principal. His wife is you know what I mean? It's like
Hey, did you hey Vic, let me go off base here. Did you ever see WrestleMania 31?
if
I know you
Sandra
did.
and the superheroes, you know what I mean? And then like, you know, if Doctor, you know what I'm saying? Like,
What are you laughing at? Y'all are crazy.
Oh man! Oh, I'm in tears over here.
I don't do CW. You know what I mean? I don't know.
So both y'all being my boys, y'all know this, man. It's just so funny because Vic is trying so hard. Blast in the past, James. Vic is trying so hard to make it make sense, right? And James is just
No, listen. Every one of those shows is always the same thing. They're always, and yet somehow they manage to find the power to overcome it. You know what I mean? Every season,
isn't that all
the speedster?
Isn't that superheroes in general, bro?
No, I don't like a lot of superhero movies. I think a lot of them are unnecessary.
Okay.
Like for instance, let me give you a great analogy, right? Superman, his arch nemesis is Lex Luthor, right?
Correct.
Normal guy, but he uses his intelligence, right? Why?
Okay.
Because Superman then has to think his way out. He can't just punch his way out. Do you see what I'm saying? On the CW, it's all about Barry. You broke my heart. You know what I mean? And who is it? Kara. You know, I can't be with you. You know what I mean? Okay. You know, he's going through a lot of stress. His father's still in prison. You know, let's drink some coffee. You know how they are. Next episode, I'm the fastest man alive. Yep.
see what you
Say that again.
There's a bit of ratchetness in there. I see what you mean. There's honestly like it's pretty good, and
For Black
the
Lightning.
The way that they get in and out of things, honestly, the storyline, I enjoy it. I really do. Like
I've never seen Black Lightning. You know what I mean? I saw like little clips or whatever like that, but I never watched it because I said I can't do this.
Yeah, no, I mean it's cool, and like right now they get into Brady's being introduced and Brady is kicking ass.
I heard that they're trying to incorporate him into that larger Arrowverse or whatever like that.
They did.
I'm done.
He's in it now.
I'm done.
Yeah.
Why?
No.
Why? They gave him a seat at the table at Justice League, if I remember correctly.
Oh, they gave him a seat, a token seat?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay. All right. Look.
Same thing that changes into all these different machines and shit.
Say that again.
Cyborg.
Mm-hmm.
He's in the Justice League.
Yeah, and I thought they shortchanged him in that ridiculous release version of Justice League.
Really? Released version of Justice League.
It was the released version. It was ridiculous. Another movie that they butchered. It was all the world is ending and everybody's cracking jokes. These are the people that are going to save my life, but everybody's laughing.
Oh man.
Didn't they do that in the first Avengers movie?
Yeah, and it was directed by the same guy, Joss Whedon.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of all that.
The world is ending and they're cracking jokes.
Yeah,
That's the problem. That's the problem. You're always angry.
I will say this though, going back to Captain America, before we get back to the great movie that was Captain Marvel, but in Captain America, this is when they actually made his character who Captain America is in the comics. And then as the movies kept going on, they just butchered his character. And there was character assassination every subsequent film. Nobody calls that out.
You make it seem like they were abusing animals. You're like, no one calls it out.
Captain America is supposed to be the Boy Scout, correct?
Correct.
Yep.
Okay. So
when you say okay like that, I know some fuckery is about to happen. All right, go ahead, Jay.
Because they say it in the movies. When he finds out that Bucky killed Tony, he murders Tony's parents, right?
Oh yeah. I already know where you're going.
And he doesn't disclose that at all. He just makes the decision arbitrarily that I'm just going to keep that and I'm not going to share that with somebody who I've confided in, who pays all my bills. I'm not going to tell Daddy that, And then he's like, Tony, why are you upset? He's my friend. I love her. Don't you understand? Tony's like, no, I don't. You're literally carrying my father's shield that he made for you when you were and this man murdered him. The whole movie is about bringing somebody who committed a crime, and you're harboring a fugitive. This is not Captain America. Why?
He said he's my friend. Don't you understand? No, I don't.
I didn't know that. That's what he said to Tony. That's what he said to Tony. It was character assassination. I said, I'm done with this. I'm done with it. The whole premise of the movie is if you do this, you're going to be breaking the law. All right, I got it. I'll break the law. Because he says, I don't know if I'm worthy to carry the shield. He says that to Tony.
Man, I can't deal.
I'm not an overall fan. I like individual Marvel movies, the ones that make sense. You know what I mean? Some are entertaining. Captain Marvel was not at all. I didn't like the cat with the scratching powers. I thought that was ridiculous. They knew this blind people with its claws, yet they told no one. Who does that?
Facts.
Who does that?
Just running around.
You're giving me the sob story about how you got no place to go. They're chasing you all over the universe, but you got a fucking cat. Excuse me, YouTube. That can literally cause blindness from a scratch. This human has never seen that cat before. You don't tell anybody?
No, but you know what's crazy though? The shapeshifters don't tell nobody.
That's what I'm talking about.
Because when he got scratched, the Jew was like, no. You know what I mean? He knew.
They're just quiet, but they want help to get to another planet.
Yep. One day he was and anybody saying nothing. Nobody's
When does that happen? That made no sense.
Yeah.
Going back to the fake.
That's why the Skrulls are truly the villains of this movie.
Huh?
That's why the Skrulls are truly the villains of this movie.
Yeah, probably. They're wrong for that. And that's how he loses his eye?
What?
Not when he's Black Widow from Soviet Russia. Nothing cool or epic.
Black Widow is supposed to be a prequel too, right? So
yeah,
who knows? We might actually end up reviewing Black Widow before we get to Avengers.
Mm-hmm. Here's the real question: will Samuel Jackson be running slower in Black Widow than he did in Captain Marvel? That's my question that I have.
He's getting too old for this crap. What can you say?
Not for that money though. Shout out to him. I'd be running too.
No.
Or jogging. He's jogging now.
Let me ask you,
How slow did Agent Coulson have to run to pretend like he was trying to keep up with Samuel Jackson?
ask away, Vic. Ask away.
I have to watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to find that answer out.
Yes, exactly. Watch some of the TV series, bro. There's Cloak and Dagger. Did you watch Cloak and Dagger?
oh shit! This guy right here looks like that's the setup for the second. Because in the movie, you know, she blew everything up and then went up to the ship and went like this and just pretty much showed her power. And he said, all right, let's agree and we'll come back. And then the guy in the background was like, oh, wait, for the object? And he said, no, for the woman. So it looks like that's what she's going to be fighting in Captain Marvel 2. I have no idea. Oh, he said it was Ronin.
Yeah,
correct.
But that's not suspenseful because we know he survives because he's in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Correct.
Oh, word.
So where's the suspense in that?
Okay, so then the Guardians of the Galaxy will probably be in Captain Marvel 2 as well.
No. Captain Marvel wasn't in Guardians of the Galaxy. She was just flying around. But we know that he's destroyed by the the Power Stone.
Correct.
Yeah, he's destroyed by the Power Stone. So even if she fights Ronin, I don't know why they tease that, like, I'll be back. You're not going to do anything because we know you die in Guardians of the Galaxy.
But anything they do in Captain Marvel is going to lead up until Avengers, and Avengers in present day. So Captain Marvel 2, I don't think it's going to be in present day. It's probably going to be, I don't think they're going to do X-Men where they jump 10 years every movie. But
soundtrack by Vitamin C, it's going to be great.
Bottom line is,
what is the? No, I have information, behind the scenes information.
I bet, Xavier. What are you going to say, Vic?
That's probably 88, 99. I mean, wait. Let me see. The computer is showing about 94. It looks like 94, 95.
The movie was set in 95.
Yeah, so probably be 98, 99,000.
Depending on when they decide to shoot the next one.
Like this guy, he doesn't age at all in that way.
Well, they de-aged him too.
Yeah.
They didn't do as much with him though.
Not sure.
The best de-aging is in the X-Men movies, where Professor Xavier, Magneto, and my God, let me tell you, what's his name? Havoc was the youngest looking 40-year-old I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, what you say? I'm more scared of a superhero than when I looked at his face. I said, my God.
Mm-hmm. Well, gentlemen,
that's everything.
We are pretty much. I'm sorry, what you say, Vic?
One thing I didn't understand. Let me find it. Hang on a second.
Yeah, go ahead.
It was just ridiculous, right? Did you notice how the Tesseract in Captain America, as soon as it falls out of the thing, the Red Skull disintegrates and it falls through the floor. It literally falls through the ship and out into has to find in the middle. How the fuck is this cat spitting out on Nick's table?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
At the end credits of the movie, the cat is just, is just spitting the shit out on the table, and it's just like, that shit should be burning through the table, falling down flights of steps. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, this is kind of fucking thing.
Well, that's my point. Marvel at the cost of common sense, they do anything for a laugh. It doesn't make by their own rules. It's not the rules that I've set up. It's not the rules of motion pictures. These are their rules. You told me that it was in the same universe. You told me that this is the same object. You told me that it had these principles. These were the stakes in these other movies, right? Because it's not just in Captain America, right? The first Avenger. It's in the first Avengers movie. It's an Endgame. Remember, they put it in a case. They had to put it in a special case. We know that the power of the Tesseract is partially used to create the Bifrost.
Yep.
It has all this power, yet this cat can adjust it. This human and Terrans are considered one of the weakest species out of all the species that we know, right?
Mm-hmm.
And take the blast of energy that should kill. You're telling me that Incredible Hulk can't put on an Infinity Gauntlet, even though much of the radiation is gamma radiation, right? But she can take a blast from the Tesseract. That makes no sense. That makes no sense. You're telling me that the Mind Stone is so powerful that Tony can create AI in 48 hours, right? But the Tesseract, it plays fast and its charge is powerful when it wants to be. That makes no sense. How come the cat wasn't teleported away?
Facts.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Cat's more powerful than Red Skull, bro.
This is how she's able to fly through space at speeds of light, or just under the subspeed of light to go to the different like jump tubes or whatever they call those things. You see what I'm saying? Because she literally flew from I don't know where to come to Earth when she heard what they were doing. Yeah. Right? When all the people, I assume when all the people got wished back in the galaxy or whatever, like in the universe, she knew that they had gotten the stones, and so logically she came. Then she had common sense. So she flew all the way back to Earth in no time. Right?
Well, no, actually it wasn't no time because at the end of the movie.
Well, I say relative in no time because if she's on the other side of the universe and she came back to Earth within 3 minutes, that's fast as hell. That's no time. You see what I'm saying? As opposed to literally no time.
So the beeper,
the
floor, he dropped it, right?
No. That's at the beginning of Infinity War when she first came. I'm talking about an Endgame. You remember when Hulk snaps his finger and he brings back everybody that Thanos had snapped away, right? Yeah. I'm presuming because they never show anybody contacting Captain Marvel then, but yet she still knows to come back. So I'm assuming that whatever planet she was on, she saw all those people come back. So she knew that they must have gotten the stones, right? And those are the only.
Or maybe she was already on her way back.
No, I doubtful because remember, it said who's the new Jarvis in Tony's suit? I forget what it is, but they said something's moving at
Friday.
Huh?
Friday.
Yeah, Friday. Friday says something's coming at hypersonic speed. Do you see what I'm saying? If she didn't know that there was a war going on, why was she flying that fast? It makes
she's in a hurry.
For what? She doesn't know that there's anything going on. If that's
maybe she wanted a coffee, maybe she wanted a latte. I don't know, but she was in a hurry, so she was already on her way back.
No, I think that she probably whatever planet she was
she has to do a talk show
because that's the only thing. Yeah, literally, that's the only thing that made sense. When the people were snapped back and she was on that planet because remember she tells Black Widow there are other people in the galaxy, in the universe. You see what I'm saying? And the Earth has you. You know what I mean? These other people don't have anybody, right? So if you were on, let's say, even if you were on Mars, right? And let's say Mars was populated, right? When 3 billion people just suddenly appear, you know, hey, they were trying to get the stones back. Odds are they're on Earth. I'm not just going to take my time to fly, you know, relative time for however fast she's moving. I'm going to get there as fast as I can. You see what I'm saying? And we know that there's no jump tube right next to Earth because we saw that when they in the first Infinity War and at the beginning of Endgame when they took the ship. Remember, it took them a while. Like they at least left our solar system before they got to that jump. Do you see what I'm saying? And so they were just flying at whatever times the speed of light or whatever it was, or sublight speeds, right? So she was going hypersonic speed to get back to Earth. So that means she saw it and she knew that. So my whole point for saying all this is that because the Tesseract is a space stone, and because it was an engine to go faster than light, right? So that those jump tubes wouldn't even be needed by the Skrulls, right? Because that's the whole reason why she built the ship, right? Or was building the ship. It gave her those powers. She's able to absorb all that cosmic energy and can fly and everything like that, and that doesn't kill her. But the Hulk putting on the glove that emits gamma radiation literally takes out his arm. So much so
Mhm.
that he couldn't lift the weight of the Avengers building. Ant-Man had to go giant. Remember, he was struggling with the one arm.
Mhm.
Do you see what I'm saying?
But he hasn't been a good Hulk in God knows how many movies.
Since the
The
Incredible
first
Hulk.
Avengers.
Since the Incredible Hulk.
No, since the first Avengers.
He was a moron in the first Avengers. In Incredible Hulk, he actually learned how to use his power. And then they pushed him back in the first Avengers. And then when they did to him in Thor Ragnarok, they thought that was moving him forward. He was more advanced than that in the Incredible Hulk. Am I
He
wrong?
did very well in in Thor Ragnarok. I just didn't like the fact he got his butt whipped by Thor.
He was terrible. He was terrible in Thor Ragnarok.
I agree. They should have done Hulk better.
Because even on, what is it on is it World War Hulk or whatever like that? He has some kind of semblance of intelligence. He's not that rudimentary.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? But in you're telling me Incredible Hulk couldn't beat the Hulk in Thor Ragnarok? There's no way I believe that.
No, he would have won. He also would have beat Iron Man and Avengers 2, which was another stupid battle.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm.
So, I think the script was rushed. It wasn't needed. That's why it was rushed. It was a money grab. It was the only thing to keep our attention from the year span because people can't wait a year to see a movie. You know, I don't get it, but whatever. And
it was 9 months after.
It has.
It was 9 months after.
That's what I'm saying. So I said
9 months after. Captain Marvel came 9 months after and 3 months before.
Yeah, that's even worse.
It was a nice teaser. It was a nice promo.
That's literally a money grab.
It was the bologna in between an Avengers sandwich.
That's why I feel like it should be the Avengers should be a 3-part movie. I think this is filler. It's kind of like going into the past type of thing. The reason why I think this movie even should be in this order is just because of The Rock. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I still think the Cat and The Rock, which is fucking stupid. But at the end of the day, they had to show what happened to the Tesseract. So.
Well, even with that, because of the mistakes that they let go by, it doesn't make sense for a Captain Marvel 2. Do you see what I'm saying? For you to say, why would Rona, somebody we've already seen, say we'll meet her again? We know there's no threat. We know he doesn't die because we see him when he dies.
He probably leaves again, or they probably goes with him.
What is going to draw me to see that movie? If they released the trailer for Captain Marvel 2 and it had the greatest special effects and she's smiling and she got a new haircut and all that fly stuff, right? Why would I want to see the movie? There's other than the special effects, and that's my point with Marvel. A lot of Marvel films, it's nothing but spectacle. There's no meat to it. This is why, even though, Chris disagrees with me, this is why I like the first Avenger, Captain America, because it was about something. The first Thor movie, even Dark World, to a certain respect, you know what I mean? They kept some of the tonality of that movie because it was about two brothers vying for their father's attention because Odin is a terrible father.
Okay.
Yeah, it was about something. Thor Ragnarok to me doesn't exist. That movie made no sense whatsoever. It was trash.
Yeah.
Why do I like Incredible Hulk versus whatever the hell they're showing me of the Hulk and these other movies, even the goofy half human, half Hulk in Endgame, which was unnecessary? Because he actually went through something, he learned it, he overcame his fear, and then he sacrificed himself. He wasn't exactly 100% sure that it would work. That was a theory when he jumped out the helicopter.
Okay, so what do you think about Iron Man 3?
Iron Man 3 was good until I found out that the Mandarin was an actor. I said, you probably created one of the best Marvel villains up to that point, right? And then you undercut everything that he did, all the cogent points that he made, because when you watch his little what we would say propaganda videos, what he said was accurate. If you think about it, he wasn't lying in those propaganda videos. We call it propaganda because it's against us, talking about the U.S., but he wasn't lying what he said, right? And those are the best villains. Why do we like Killmonger? What he said was accurate. Why is Magneto so beloved? He's telling the absolute truth. When in human history have human beings been accepting of somebody different? Why would you believe they would be accepting of somebody with superpowers who's different? Not to mention you have the proof that they're killing us. This is why we gravitate to them. So it just really bothers me when they destroy perfectly good characters for the sake of comedy, for the sake of plot contrivances. It makes no sense. How do you have the God of Thunder never use lightning? Not once. And then when he does, he's shooting out sparks. It's not even laughable. It's absurd. How does he go from he bodied Thanos? Say what you want about Infinity War, more than Scarlet Witch and what she did to the spinny spiky wheel, more than when she couldn't destroy her boyfriend, even though trillions of people depended on it, right? Because had she destroyed the stone, what she had the power to do, he couldn't have snapped those people out of existence. You understand that, right? So she's not a hero. I don't look up to her. She's not an inspiration. She's a loser. She's a weak loser who can't control her powers throughout all the movies that she's in. That's a fact. That's a fact, right? So she doesn't do that. Thor comes down and he bodies Thanos. And the only thing that he did wrong was he didn't go for the head. But he literally said, I did that because I wanted to tell you. I told you I was coming back for you. You got me in the beginning and I got you now. And he wasn't thinking, but that is who Thor was, right? For Quill to make a mistake that dumb, when we've seen him think right on the spot, especially if we're talking about this movie and his tie into Ronan. He thought on the spot to do something that nobody would have ever thought about because they're not from Earth, right? So he's going to have a dance battle to buy them time. He didn't have a plan. He was trying to buy them time. Why, if you know that trillions of people and you could get the gauntlet and snap Gamora back because he knows how the gauntlet works, why would he start punching him? What is his punches going to do to Thanos? Here's my other question. You're telling me that Mantis, and we know that what was Ego? That Ego was strongest right near his nerve center, right? She was able to still keep him asleep where he was strongest, but she couldn't subdue Thanos because a Terran was punching him in the face. That makes no sense. It makes
he's a half god too.
Who? He is.
No, Ego is a celestial.
Okay, either way you look at it, no. Star-Lord's not your regular Terran.
Celestials as above Thanos. They haven't established that Thanos is an offshoot of the
but who's Ego's son? Ego's son is Star-Lord, right?
He didn't have those powers because genetics doesn't work anymore. When you destroy the father planet. Now you and I know that,
but we know he's special. So you know what? He was slapping some sense into it.
He's not special because that's what the movies have established. That he gave up those powers. That was his hero moment. I give up my godhood to do the right thing and save trillions of people. Except in the next movie, I forget all that and I kill trillions of people to save one girl who's already dead who said, I'm probably going to die. Do you see what I'm saying? They undercut his character. They already established that he learned his lesson. He got everything he wanted, and he was giving himself over to that. And then when he came to himself and he realized, no, this is wrong. They were actually right about you. I'm willing to give up everything I ever wanted. Then he became a hero. Why would he undercut that in the next movie? That doesn't make any sense. That literally makes no sense. There's nothing about Black Widow, again, somebody who can transmute their atoms, right? Scarlet Witch, right? She bodied the Vision, who was established up until Thanos as the strongest person. right? More than Thor, more than Hulk, any of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yet she does nothing to help him when he actually needs help, right? When I forget Glaive or whatever like that, when he stabs him, she doesn't destroy the time stone or the mind stone when she could, or the time stone, no, the mind stone, right? When she could, okay,
Mhm.
because Thanos will have no idea who destroyed it or where they destroyed it. He wouldn't know. So the time stone, even though he had it, would be of no use to him because he would never know, right?
Mhm.
She doesn't do that. Selfish again, right? We know that no, seriously. We know that she could have destroyed Thanos at any moment because she did it in Endgame.
Mhm.
So
Well, she's about to.
Thanos said, wipe out everybody just to give me a chance to save myself.
Rain fire. Right.
Yeah. So he was willing to destroy all his people just to stop her because she was going to body him. I mean, deatomize him. Literally. We saw her do that, right?
She was going to Phoenix, Dark Phoenix him. Yes.
Thank you. Except this time he's not going to walk slowly to her, say Jean, and then kiss her and stab her. Okay? But no, that happened in that movie. That was trash. All right. That was utter garbage, right? So these are not heroes. These are not heroes. We saw him throw his sword how many feet? Because Captain Marvel was flying across that field to destroy that truck, right? Or the van, right? And blow it up. You're telling me Tony saw Doctor Strange that far? I can't get over it.
We back on the it all comes full circle with you, know. It all comes full circle with you, I swear.
The Ancient One, huh?
Endgame. Like, we need to bring this up actually win.
Listen, I got the time stone. Look at me. Look at me. Look. You see? The Ancient One.
Let's rewind. You have a good point, and we're definitely going to talk about that on the season finale, episode 22.
Best of all of us. He has
episode 22.
Action.
We are on episode 2, Captain Marvel. Final thoughts, Vic. What you got for us, man?
Why did he take Thanos' soul?
Final thoughts.
What you got for us, Vic?
Like we've been saying all night, it was filler. But if I had to, I would put my thoughts to make it feel better.
Mr. J, thank you so much for joining us. Do you have any final thoughts when it comes to the movie of Captain Marvel and his infinite greatness?
I do. I thought that the Animatrix was great. I remember when I went to Blockbuster and I rented it. I didn't understand half of what I was watching, but it was a nice placeholder for when that last Matrix film, Revolutions, came out. I didn't understand that. That was utter garbage. And just like I said to an old friend of mine, I said, look, Eric, they made the Matrix. He's the one. All right? Why are they making part 2? He literally said in the first movie he has power over the Matrix. Anyway, they made part 2 and 3. They were trash. Animatrix, trash.
And they're making a 4th.
Trash. Huh?
And they're making a 4th.
They're making a 4th.
They're making a 4th one. It was originally supposed to come out next year. It probably is getting delayed due to COVID, but they are definitely making a 4th.
Well, the delay is John Wick 4 starring the cast of The Matrix. And so...
Ironically, John Wick 4 was, so as of this taping, John Wick 4 is actually supposed to come out the same day as The Matrix. True story.
I'll be seeing John Wick 4, something in Latin. I'll be seeing that movie because those movies are fantastic.
Gotcha. I agree. I like them. I thought the third one was a little over the top. There was too many times where I felt like he should have been dead.
That's what we want. That's what we want.
He should have been dead.
In a bulletproof suit who can go over a building, bang his back several times, land on concrete, and walk away. And then I want a homeless Lawrence Fishburne to cut him with razors. I want it all. I want it all.
Well, you just really described John Wick 3, but that's another review for another time. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for watching us. Now our next episode, episode 3 of season 1, as I call it now, of this Marvel Cinematic Universe is the first Iron Man, the movie that technically started it all, despite what Willie says. Technically, the movie that started it all, Iron Man 1, and we're going to review that probably on Wednesday. So definitely tune in to that And make sure that you watch this on our wrestling edition of Unpopular Reviews. Myself, Katrina, and a special guest, as we will discuss at a later time. But thank you so much for Jay, for Vic. I'm Chris, and we will see you next time here. Have a good night.